This video is about high body count. There are some men in the manosphere who are concerned about a woman's high body count for several reasons. Preference. I think that the reasons I've heard is that a woman who has had more sexual partners in the past is more likely to pine over a past lover who was better in bed, or is more likely to initiate divorce. It turns out that educated women generally have had more sex partners, and educated women are more likely to get divorced. So it's kind of linked. I don't know which causes what. And then when when the women divorce, the men are stuck with very unfavorable terms in divorce court. So, um, yes, this is all concerning about the divorce court. Now, if I just take high body count in and of itself, I've also heard the argument that I don't want to give my resources to a woman who has given her resource, her body, away to other men who haven't invested in a relationship with her, who've invested less when her body was still of higher value when she was younger. First of all, that's assuming a lot. It could be that the woman had other relationships and they invested even more. We don't know. But I want to give you guys some things to think about with this whole body count thing, because I don't want to dismiss the men's concerns. And here are just a few other things to keep in mind about the body count. First of all, society has changed a lot. So if you get with a woman in high school, she probably has zero body count. But the older she gets, unless she's like really religious or asexual, she's gonna want to have sex. And the sex she has could either be exploring, like drunk hookups in college. It could be a one night stand while she's on vacation. But more likely, it's going to be a boyfriend that she was with, different boyfriends, or a guy that she thought liked her and then just used her for sex. So, this is what I hear from women. I really like this guy, but as soon as I had sex with him because I liked him and I thought this was going somewhere, he dumped me. And so the reason a woman has a high body count, like my body count went way up after my divorce because guys that I had sex with just dumped me. They just dumped me. They had sex, they just used me for sex. And so I didn't go around just wanting to fuck these guys. I didn't see these guys as some kind of like relationship potential, but I thought it could be like a regular hookup buddy till I met my next husband. That never happened. They just, the world has really changed. So we have a world of men who will just go around fucking women and leave them. And I hear this from women in this Facebook group I was in. I just deleted my Facebook, but I hear things like, I really like this guy. We got along so great. We went away for the weekend. We had sex, and now I never hearing from them again. And most women would rather be in a relationship and have sex, but it's the man who's kind of like dragging his feet about the relationship part. So therefore, it's not that the woman's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to fuck this guy, get up my body count. She's thinking it's going to go somewhere, and the woman is in charge of saying yes or no to sex, but the man is in charge of whether there's a relationship. And more men are not wanting to have a relationship. The world is really changing. Men don't have the kind of money they used to make that they feel that they need to be in a relationship. They're not asking women out. They're afraid of rejection. And then and then the ones who can get women, they often just use them for sex. Was what I want to say. Now, as far as the online dating is even worse, because the guys on there just want sex. They will just approach you for sex. That's all they want. Like, dating has just gone out the window, and women feel really pressured. I know women, and the thing is, if a woman likes the guy, she'll have sex with him, even if she's not quite ready. Like, I really like this guy, so I want to have sex with him because she likes him. And then he's just using her for sex. Then he's done with her and her body count has gone up. So women have become, I think society has really changed. People are not waiting as long, especially older people. I was hooking up with this guy, this Marine guy, this infantry guy, super nice guy last year. And he was also in the process of dating. And he told me, if I go on 3 dates with a girl and she doesn't have sex with me, I'm moving on. Because he had not found like the one yet. And he didn't want to keep spending money on dates if she wasn't going to have sex with him. And I could see his point because he's a young man, virile man in his 20s, who wants to have sex with the girls that he goes out with. And he's like, I'm paying for dates. I'm paying for, I want to have sex. And she doesn't want to. So I feel like I'm being used. And so women kind of feel pressure. Like if I don't have sex with this guy, he's not going to keep going out with me. Now, I will say, if the man feels like this is a woman he wants to marry, like my friend, if he would have met a woman he wanted to marry, he wouldn't have cared about the 3 dates or whatever. But I think a lot of women feel pressure to have sex, or they're horny. Like we did not evolve to be virgins till we're in our 20s. We didn't evolve that way. I mean, a long time ago when we lived as tribes, people were promiscuous within their tribes of 100 to 150 people. There was no property. People would live here, and then when the food ran out, they'd move there like they were foragers and hunters. And all the women, unless they were infertile, I don't know how many were infertile, every woman would be a mother, but only 40% of men were fathers. So either some of the men didn't get to fuck any women at all, or what usually happened, the women had sex with many men, and the sperm competition didn't happen on the level of physical strength, like I think the gorillas or the chimpanzees, like the strongest one wins in the animal kingdom. In the world of people, it was the strongest sperm. So a woman could have sex with many, many men, but it was the strongest sperm that would make it to the egg and fertilize the egg. Therefore, only 40% of the men were fathers. Okay, so not every man got to be a father, even back then. 10,000 years ago, we started the agricultural age. And hold on, I need to get my tripod. I have a new phone here, and it's so heavy, my S21. Like, it is too heavy. I'm going to put this phone on a tripod and then continue my little talk. Then we had the start of the agricultural age, and then people started having property, and then women became property. Not only did women become property, but men who had resources were saying, I want to know that this child is mine. So paternity became very important, because before, during the tribal era, all men would raise all the children and all women would raise all the children. Like everything was done cooperatively. So the agricultural age brought about property and families. And since there was no birth control, people, and religion made a pretty good rule that people should have no sex until marriage. Why? Because you don't want to have a bunch of fatherless children running around and women with no one to provide for them, because women were property and they couldn't work. And also, children need a mother and a father. I'm a big believer in that. It's better if you can manage that, okay? It's not ideal to be like, have a child on your own. It's just not. Children, boys need fathers. Girls need fathers and mothers. They need both. Anyway, but during the biblical era, people got married at a very young age. I think 13, 14, 15. And now people are getting married later and later. So people were getting married right during puberty. We didn't expect people to be celibate for 10 years of puberty and sexuality. Like, that is just crazy to expect someone to be a virgin for 10 years of hormonal activity for a man or a woman. I think that's just crazy. So unless you're getting married in high school, or find your partner in high school, or find an asexual person or a very religious person, the person you're going to marry or date is going to have had other sexual partners. That's just the reality of it. Um, you know, a time when they didn't was when they got married super young. And that made sense because there was no birth control. Even when my parents married in the 60s and my ex-husband's parents married in the 50s, there wasn't birth control and abortions weren't legal. So what happened then, they had sex before marriage. My ex-husband's parents were pregnant with him when they got married. My parents were pregnant with me when they got married. But what happened, the woman would get pregnant and the people would marry. Now, they would stay married even if they were unhappy because they didn't believe in divorce, or the woman, they couldn't afford to divorce, and women couldn't work and all of this. But now, as time has gone on and women are in the workforce and people want more out of relationships, things have gotten very messy. So people will get divorced and then they have other relationships and a second marriage and a third marriage. Men get plundered in divorce court. Women are having sex with guys thinking it's going to go somewhere and it isn't. So they have more sexual partners and so on. And, you know, I think that men who are concerned about that because they value virginity, they really need to marry a woman who's very young. It's pretty unlikely to find your virgin girl in her 20s, unless I said she is religious or asexual. I just don't see any other way. Now, I will say also that the guys who talk about the body count is as if, okay, first of all, ladies, don't go around hooking up if you know that's going to break your heart if the guy never calls you again. I don't hook up because I'm not okay with having sex with a guy and then he blows me off. I feel like when I have sex with a guy, I feel if I'm not in a relationship with the guy, if I'm in a relationship with the guy, I want to have sex with him because that bonds us and I'm a relationship person. And I want to share that with him. But if I'm not in a relationship with the guy sexually, he gets more out of it. As a man, he gets a lot more out of a casual encounter, and that's why I won't do it unless he pays me. Then I don't care. And when he pays me, I'm not the same person in bed as I am with the man that I love. A woman is different in bed with the man she cares about than a one-night stand. At least I am, and my friends that have told me about it. Also, a man might say, I don't want to share my life with the woman who's had so many other men she's used up. And that's fine. I just want to clarify something. I don't see women that way as used up because there's more to a woman than her body, right? I mean, there's her heart. I feel like I have a super fucking high body count. It's probably 2,000 men. But the only man that's ever really had access to me, the only man in my whole life that I've ever given all of myself to or was willing to, I don't want him anymore, but I'm just thinking about how I was so willing to give him everything, was my ex-husband, right? He had all of me. I mean, he didn't want all of me because it was too much and he was walled off. But he had access to my heart, my soul, my, everything. And a guy that I'm just having sex with doesn't have access to all of me sexually or emotionally or anything. So a woman is more than just a body. So to go around being like, well, I don't want her. I feel like a guy that I would date is on a higher level than a guy that I'm fucking. He's a higher value man because I am very picky about who I have in my space. Like, in order to date me, you got to be like a top-notch guy. And I feel like that guy might feel like, well, I know, he might think, well, she's fucking these guys, why won't she fuck me? Well, do you want to pay me? Okay, I'll fuck you if you want to pay me, but then you're just a customer and you don't get all of me. You just get a tiny sliver of me. Getting a woman sharing her heart and cooking for you and having children with you and building a life with you is worth a lot more. Um, Now, I think that men who are experienced with women, I don't know if men who are experienced with women have this idea about high body count. I think it could be just some of the manosphere guys who are not that experienced with women. So this video is also to enlighten some of you guys about how I as a woman might think. And I think that men who are afraid that women will leave them and take them to divorce court, I think that's the real issue. Because I, as a woman, you might go, oh, she has a high body count. And I might say, hey, all that money you made all these years, I don't like how you invested it. I don't like that you spent money on all these other women. I don't like that you're spending some of your money sending it to your mom or on your car. Like, your money is my money. If my body is for you, then your money is for me. And you're not doing that trade. I know you're not doing that trade because you still think that's your money to do what you want, and now you think my body, you can do what you want, like I'm a fucking piece of property, and I'm not. I don't care how many women you slept with, so why do you care about how many men I slept with? It's not even relevant, but what is relevant is the character of the woman. And for sure, find your low body count woman, I don't care, okay? But here are some things you guys need to look out for with women. Never overinvest in a woman. So find the point at which you get your heart broken and stop. Like, if you buy a woman a coffee, she should buy you the next coffee. If you take her out to dinner, she should take you out to lunch or cook for you. When you call her, she should call you back. She should be interested in you. Do not overinvest in a woman. And likewise, a woman should not overinvest in a man. Don't have sex with a guy who doesn't want to have a relationship with you, period. Period. I mean, some of these women, they just fall for these guys and like, I like this guy so much, I want to have sex with him, and he's just using you for sex. That's it. You guys, we have to get more picky, but because high quality guys, high status guys are in short supply, what happens when high quality men are in short supply? Women start competing for these men by giving them easy access to sex. So it's because we don't have a lot of high quality men out there. And a lot of you guys are not asking women on dates. You are giving up because you're afraid of rejection. And all those guys on Tinder, I don't care if they're chads or whatever, they're still infantile because they have not developed the masculine quality of dealing with rejection. It's part of being a man, is dealing with rejection. People have forgotten how to be a man. And part of being a woman is making a man work for access to our bodies. They're supposed to do that, you know? Anyway, don't overinvest in someone. So for me, it's having sex. So I don't have sex with men unless I'm in a relationship or I'm dating. I haven't dated in so long. Or they pay me, because otherwise I get my heart broken. So find out your stopping point and don't overstep it. Don't overgive. Second thing about not getting your heart broken is to not see the other person as a source of love, like your little baby looking for mommy and daddy. If we're honest, a lot of us are looking for this partner to complete us, to love us like mommy and daddy, or like the mommy and daddy we never had, and we got to break that fantasy. Because then you're needy and you don't make good choices and you're afraid to say no and you overgive. So you have to see yourself as the source of whatever, love, passion, excitement, resources. You have got to build a life that is full, so that if someone comes along who doesn't want to give back equally and invest in you equally, you can just cut the ties. You're not so needy by making that little mind shift from... You got to make that mind shift from Prince Charming and the one-itis to I'm the source. Not like you're stuck up, but you're the source and you can choose. And what happens when you do that? You become magnetic. Guys, you want to be magnetic to women? Go to the fucking gym do some CrossFit, get some strength. A lot of you guys are way too flabby. And once you get some strength and get some decent clothes, you're going to feel like $1,000,000 and women are going to start checking you out. So those are the first two things you have to do. There are women out there hungry for men. Okay, now guys, you got to choose carefully because a lot of you guys are picking women based on their looks because you don't have enough experience with women. So you find this pretty girl and you project all this fantasy onto her, and a lot of women are floozy bitches. Okay, watch Good Bro, Bad Bro channel. They have a lot of good tips. Like the one yesterday with 10 tips was so good. And they have a really fun, very positive, upbeat dynamic, which I love. Good Bro, Bad Bro on YouTube. The first one they said is don't get with a woman who's bad with money. And that'll help you in divorce court because a responsible woman has a career when you meet her. She's not in debt, or at least her debt makes sense. Like if she's going in debt to buy shoes or purses, run. Okay, a woman who's good with money. She pays her bills on time. And at least at my age, there should be some savings, unless she's got little kids or something. They also said avoid a woman with like tattoos, piercings, and a lot of makeup. I think that's good advice. They usually have a lot of issues. I don't remember all the other tips, but here's one for you. See how she responds when she's pissed off at you, when she's really pissed. Is she going to start cutting you down? Is she going to get revengeful and get back at you? Because that's what she's going to do 100 times more in divorce. Because she's going to be pissed. Like, how does she respond when she's really angry with you? When you tell her no? Or when she doesn't get her way? Or when you reject her in some way? Like, she wants sex and you tell her no. Is she going to tell you have a small dick? Is she going to, try to hurt you? You want to look for that. Look at her friends. What kind of friends does she have? Are they like little whores? Do they have character? Are her friends up to something? Is she up to something? A lot of you guys are just going for some pretty girl that leads you on. A woman of integrity will not lead you on. Like me, for example, if a guy were interested in me, I wouldn't keep him around as a side bait. That's not nice. Does she have character? How does she treat other people? What are her friends like? How is she with money? Is she reliable? Is she still out partying, or does she go to bed early and get up early because she's on her purpose? Is she a career woman? Like, is she all into work in her head, or is she also in her heart? Is she aggressive, or is she feminine? I think the one guy in the video was talking about a feminine woman, like a woman should cook. She should cook for you. She should cook and bake and maybe knit. I'm like, yeah, knit. I haven't knitted in years. That sounds so nice. I want to take a knitting class. Like, well, ladies, we have to be feminine. We have to be women that men want. They also said a woman who's on her phone all the time. If you're on a date with a girl and she's on her phone, forget it. She's telling you that you're not that interesting. And if you're on a date with a girl and she's talking about another guy, just ditch her. You want to look for a woman who's into you. When she's with you, she's all eyes on you. She likes to be close to you. She wants to have sex with you. And she doesn't have any other guys around. That's what I would look for. Avoid women who need to drink a lot. If she had a traumatic childhood, make sure she's gone to therapy. I would say that all of my friends have either gone to therapy or done work on themselves. Like, I don't know how they are with men, but like with me, I have a lot of requirements from my female friends because I've met a lot of women that gossip, that always have a problem. Avoid women that always have a problem. Avoid women that gossip. Avoid women that always need to vent about their family or their job or their financial situation because they're just a problem. Who cares about how cute her ass or her tits are, you guys? Kim Kardashian is a fucking drama show. But, Kanye West thought she was all that. So you can't account for taste. Get a woman who dresses modestly and who isn't always trying to like show off her body to other men. She should only be interested in showing her body off to you, really. I mean, I like to go out and dress like, okay, like what I'm wearing now is I would wear this in public, okay? Like I would wear this in public, you know, like this kind of skirt. I would even wear a skirt a little. I even have dresses that are a little shorter, like halfway up my leg. But I don't wear anything skimpier than that unless I'm on a date. I'm not out there trying to seduce men. Like a woman can be dressed in form-fitting clothes, but if you're with a girl who's always got to show her cleavage or have little mini skirts with high heels, run. You want to look for a girl who's nurturing, like she likes to cook for you. She likes to have nights at home. She doesn't always need you to buy her things. She values your company more than what you can buy for her. And I would also say when you get married, you want to make sure you get a woman who likes working at least part-time. There's no reason for a woman with school-age children to be home all day. That way, if you get divorced, she can easily morph whatever part-time work she has into full-time work. Unless she's like a queen bee that wants to sit around and just do nothing while her man does all the work. Like, you guys should avoid women like that. Women with really long nails, I would avoid that. I think women with purple hair and blue hair, in my experience, the women that are fit and toned and athletic like me, we feel good in our body. We don't do all that makeup and long nails and fake eyelashes and purple hair. And the women who had traumatic childhoods, they're the ones with the purple and the pink hair. They just, I can look at them and I'd be like, that's drama. Avoid Botox face, fake breasts, like anything artificial. Like a nice girl, like not even necessarily a teacher or a yoga teacher. Some of them have like, they get attached super quick to guys, you know. You guys just have to know what to look for because you can find there are good women out there. There are good women out there still. You guys are just complaining, but you guys, if you guys just get some muscle on and make yourself attractive, you will get dates and then you can start dating and you can talk to women. Also have some female friends, talk to them, get to know how women talk about men, what they like, how we are, what we look for, what men mean to us, you know. You really, I mean, everything I'm saying is just from listening to men, trying to understand men. And I still don't understand men. All I know about men is that their sexual need is immediate. They want to fuck a lot more than we do. Except the first 2 years of a relationship when women want to fuck a lot. Our sex drive is usually not as immediate. And women usually want to feel close to their partner to want to have sex. I should make another video about why your wife stopped fucking you, but for sure, some of it is because the guy sucks in bed, he's either walled off or a fucking doormat, there's no attraction anymore, and frankly, he's letting her get away with saying no. So you guys have to have some good boundaries, and I think that men need to become more masculine again. Masculine. Work out, get some muscle, don't give up. Don't be like, oh, poor me, nobody wants me. Man the fuck up. Get to CrossFit, get a decent set of clothes that fit you, that aren't all baggy like whatever, a decent pair of shoes. And women, we have to become more feminine again. We have to be nurturing and soft and, you know, we all have to get off our phones to interact more. Like we have to cook more, we have to maybe knit. Otherwise, our freaking race is going to die out because we're just not attractive to each other anymore. And people are having less sex than ever. By the way, when my parents divorced, my dad was a philanderer. He was a piece of shit. And he finally left my mom when I was 9 for his secretary. They're still married, by the way. And the child support he paid was so little. It was $70 a month per child in the 70s, which my mom said wasn't even enough for groceries. So my grandfather helped out a lot because my mom was teaching transcendental meditation. I guess she could have gone to work, but she didn't want to leave us at home alone all day. I guess especially because I was smoking weed. She's like, she always thought I was smoking weed, so I quit my job. I didn't want to leave my kids home all day. But back then, they were smoking in the offices, and my mom would, I remember she always came home and said, "It smells like smoke. I don't like it." Anyway, she loved teaching meditation. She followed her passion, and it just didn't pay very much. But the divorce courts were not favorable to women back then, and now they're over favorable to women. And I don't know what the answer is, because a lot of women, if they stay at home and they can't make as much money as the guy, and now they're 50 or 60 and they're getting divorced, um, who's gonna, they go after the guy because they can. If the divorce courts weren't so favorable to them, I suppose they would have to work. So, guys, get a prenup, and any woman can go back to college in her 40s and 50s and prepare for a divorce and get a career. Women have to stop thinking of them. We all have to stop thinking of ourselves as helpless, dependent on the government. You know, a woman can definitely work. I know a woman who was divorced, and I know several women who were divorced with small children who worked their way through school and made a career, nursing school. I know several women like that. And it was hard, but they did it. I think that their children suffered, though. Children really need both parents, you guys. Children need both parents. Yes, definitely. I'm glad I had my kids and I was married and they have a father. So, um, I, and ladies, if you want to get married in your 20s. Do not wait till your 30s, because the good guys are going to be gone. The world has changed. Do not let anyone tell you that your career is number one. You think it is. They're telling you a fucking lie. Made another video about that. Because at some point, most women are going to want a child and a family, and you better plan ahead for that if that's what you want, because if you look around in your 30s, those guys who are 35, they may not want you. They want some nice, sweet, feminine woman. That's what men want, a nice feminine woman who can handle her own emotions and is an asset to his life, who's nurturing and kind and sweet. He doesn't want another man. He doesn't want someone to compete with him when he gets home and lay in on him about a hard day at work and not want to have sex with him. This reminds me, this was so scandalous. Oh my God. Do you guys remember that lady? Who was it? She was advocating greeting your husband at the door in saran wrap and just being the sex doll for him, and the feminists were just up in arms. But honestly, I think a lot of guys would be happy with that. But here's the other thing. A lot of men do not want to be the provider. They want a woman to also work. And it is not really conducive to feminine energy for a woman to be out working all day. It is masculine energy, competitive energy. And if you want a woman who's nourishing, she has to have a way to nourish her feminine energy with a lot of downtime, with yoga, with nourishing herself, because the softness requires softness to grow. It doesn't grow in a competitive office environment where you're trying to make partner or whatever. It's just harder. So anyway, I hope you guys liked my video. I'm really excited to see whatever comments you have. The world is changing. I don't have any answers, but I'm just throwing out some things I see, considerations and things that I see about the changing nature of relationships, hookup, sex, and love. On my Rumble channel, I'll be talking about my activism. All of that will be banned on YouTube because it has to do with freedom and liberty. And that is a subject that is banned, apparently, in a lot of places. And thank you for watching my video.